4 books in March, and somehow none of them were bad. I genuinely enjoyed all of them. I really don't know how this happened, but since I enjoyed all of the books I read this month, let's recap them from worst to best so you know what's really worth your time. Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new to Corey's Nail Diary. We talk about books, nails, and everything in between. Today we're going to talk about my March reading wrap, so let's get right into it. First up is my worst, which I'm putting parentheses around because this book is definitely not the worst out of all of them. This one is actually, like, out of all the books I've ever read, might be one of the best books I've ever read, and it's No Matter What by Cara Bastone. I would just like to say that this might be the saddest book I've read in a really long time, and of my books I've read this year, there's a Nicholas Sparks book on that list. Tell me how Cara Bastone wrote a book more sad than anything that I've read that's Nicholas Sparks this year. I cannot believe that. I'm going to get into the book review first before I say more commentary on Cara Bastone and everything about that, so let me get into the review of the book first. So this book follows our two main characters, Roz and Vin. They're a couple that I think has been married for about 8 years, and they got into a really bad accident that almost claimed their lives, and they're more or less living with the backlash of it. And they're, at the beginning of the book, they're looking like they're going to Splitsville. Like, it looks like they're going to split. Really get to, like, experience their life and how they're getting through this grief and through this trauma. And it's so beautiful, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cara Bastone is one of those authors where I'm like, someday she's gonna be like the new generation Nicholas Sparks, because everything I read by her has some ounce of grief in it, the same way that Nicholas Sparks does. But her books are not predictable when I feel like I've read so much Nicholas Sparks that I can guess that someone is going to die of cancer at some point in the book. I have loved almost every book I've read by her, and literally my favorite book of 2025 was her book, Promise Me Sunshine. So I just went into this book with very high expectations. That being said, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars because, I don't know, guys, listen, this book was so freaking good. It was so good, but I fear whenever I read a Cara Bastone book, I'm always going to want to compare it to Promise Me Sunshine, and there's just nothing that compares in my mind. So yeah, this book was my worst of the month, but literally this book was phenomenal, so good. I cannot believe that this could be considered worst at all whatsoever. But that being said, this was not my favorite book of the month, but I did really like it. Up next, we have Onyx Storm, which is the 3rd book of the current Fourth Wing series. Now, I say current because we all know Rebecca Yarros is writing that 4th book, and honestly, I'm gonna need her to write it a bit quicker after this one. Guys, I rated Onyx Storm as my first 5-star of the year, which, if you would have ever told me that I was rating not 1, but 2 fantasy books 5 stars with A Court of Mist and Fury and Onyx Storm, I would tell you that you don't know who you're talking to. I loved Fourth Wing. I liked Iron Flame, but I think I met my husband with Onyx Storm. I don't even know how to explain this to you guys. This was my first 5-star of the year, and also, because this is a 3rd book of a series, I'm going to put right here the timestamp of when you should fast forward until if you haven't read the rest of the series. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead, scroll forward. Okay, safe to say they're gone now. Onyx Storm, by far, was my favorite story that we saw of Violet Sorrengail and Exaden. I don't think we know Exaden's last name, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, in this book, we find them in this weird moment that we meet them after Iron Flame, where at the end of Iron Flame, Exaden becomes Venom to save Violet, which is literally the most romantic thing in the world, but also means that he's turning Venom, and the moment that you turn Venom is when you kind of get exiled. So no one can know that he's Venom, and their closest friends know to keep Violet safe from him, so they're not allowed to really get intimate anymore. which is very strange. But this whole book, aside from like the romance plot of Xaden and Violet, this book discusses primarily finding Andarna's type of dragon. As we know, we think that she's a yellowtail, but she's not. She's not. So basically, this entire story follows Violet and a few of their friends who have been appointed to go on a journey to go and find Adarna's actual family and like where she comes from exactly. I liked this book a lot because I thought that we were seeing something that was outside of the actual war college for once, which was really cool. We got to see these characters in a brand new light. And like, listen, I like the idea of like, oh, like, so we're in an area where there's no magic, which means I'm not here as a professor, right? Right, Violet? Like, that was really cute. That being said, yes, I was pissed off at the ending like everybody else, but I can appreciate a good cliffhanger, and I can appreciate the fact that I'm excited to read the next book soon. I feel like the qualm that everybody has with this book is that the actual war scenes aren't nearly as intense as the first two books, and I will say, I do agree with that, but I wasn't mad about it because it felt like it returned the favor almost when it came to the scenes of them going and looking for Andarna's kind and like when they actually meet Andarna's kind. I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it and the fact that it was so different. Honestly, this book did not emotionally wreck me, just like Roz and Vin did, my last one. But it got 5 stars for me because it was simply so intriguing. Like, I could not put this one down. That gets me to my favorite of the month, the best of them all. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this one, guys. And now, Back to You by B.K. Borison. So it's no secret that First Time Caller was one of my favorite books in 2025. Oh, I loved First Time Caller so much. I think it was my overall 3rd favorite book of the year. And I am still so happy with it. Like, every part, like, some people are like, oh, it's so cheesy. I live for the cheesiness. So, since we had Aiden and Lucy's story in the last one, now we get Jackson and Delilah Stewart. Oh my god. So in this one, Jackson, the meteorologist from the same radio station as Heartstrings, gets assigned to go to the country during snowfall to report the weather alongside TV meteorologist Delilah Stewart. And there's a lot that goes on in this book, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think what was so fun about this is because it's like a fake enemies to lovers. Like, Jackson loves to hate Delilah, and I find that so fun. I find it fun to like love to hate someone, and I think that the strong suit that this book had going for it was that B.K. Borison managed to make these characters in this story just as cute as Aiden and Lucy, but like in a different font. Like, literally, they're supposed to not like each other because one is radio and one's TV, but they just end up like literally grumpy sunshine. Like, he can't help but love her. I don't have the actual physical book sitting directly next to me right now, so I don't want to give away too much. But I will say, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but they get on this trip and they find out that Delilah's boss, who's been trying to sabotage her and her job, didn't book her a hotel room. Do with that what you will. This was a very classic romance. Some people probably thought it was cheesy. Personally, to me, I'm writing home about it. This was actually like the book I was looking forward to this year. And I'm like really hoping I can see B.K. Borison at BookCon next month. I genuinely found the pacing of this book to be perfect. There was never a moment where I was bored. I always knew what was going on. And like, I was never waiting for more to happen. I will also say this is a sequel, so of course I loved the glimpses of Aiden and Lucy in this book as well. Guys, this one just has such a soft spot in my heart, and there's supposed to be a 4th in the series. I can't wait. And then my last one I'm talking about, I will say it's not like my favorite. I know I like didn't really put them in super order here, but I am still reading the 4th book. Today is March 26th. I still have time. I'm about 200 pages into Throne of Glass right now, the first book of Throne of Glass. I've decided that I would like to read all of the Throne of Glass books before the next ACOTAR book comes out. That being said, there are 8 Throne of Glass books, and there are officially 8 months until October. So I'm going to be reading one Throne of Glass series book every single month until October. But that being said, this is like a couple of days, I guess, before I'm going to post this. I don't have a review for Throne of Glass. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't really understand what's going on. So we are going to flash to Korea the future to talk about Throne of Glass. It's March 30th and I just finished Throne of Glass, which is, can't believe I hit my reading goal this month because I've been bedazzling everything. But here is my review of Throne of Glass. So I feel like Throne of Glass, it's all about an assassin girl who has to lie about her identity to be able to be in a competition to become the king's assassin. And I, at the beginning, was reading it and it was really, really slow. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into here. I feel like Sarah J. Maas doesn't really write slow books, so I'm like a little confused. And then it ramped up and there was like a love story and it like got better as time came on. And I actually quite enjoyed it. If I had to compare it to anything else I've ever read, I would compare it to the Selection series, which I read when they first came out when I was like 16. So it was a cute little throwback moment for me. That being said, I don't understand the hype yet, so I will keep reading them, obviously, but I'm getting a little worried that I'm not going to want to keep reading this series. So I already have the second book of the series downloaded. I'm hoping next month I don't feel this way, but we will see. Okay, now back to Corey. That was great, Corey. Thank you so much for that in-depth review. All right, guys, well, that's all I've got for you today. Let me know if any of these books are on your TBR, if you want to read them next month, or just in general, let me know what your April TBR is. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure while you're still on YouTube to hit subscribe and like this video so I know that you like this content. And you guys can follow me everywhere else on social media at Corey's Nail Diary. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!